What's up guys, this is Astranox. Today I have the showcase of this brand new 3-star fire warrior called Januta. So this hero actually deals some pretty surprising damage, right? He's a 3-star hero. I have him built pretty tanky on a counter set with a penetration set as well. He is a single target damage dealing hero. So, we're putting that penetration set to good use. And the counter set works well with his kit because you're building fighting spirit more often if you do trigger counter, and you do have to get lucky for that to happen. It's easier when the enemy has hero or heroes that attack your whole team. So that's good because you can use the skill 3 faster, because with 100 fighting spirit you're going to be able to use it. It doesn't have any cooldown, that skill number 3. Pretty cool. More on to that in a minute. But I have him, like I said, on counter penetration set with also this border coin artifact is surprisingly good on him because his passive is a non-attack skill when it does trigger, and it will be activating the border coin up to 3 times. So that is some pretty sweet free attack and speed throughout the battle. Now I like to have him on a counter set with a pretty decent amount of survivability. Not the easiest of things to do because he's a 3-star hero. He has less than 5,000 health. So it's kind of rough to boost his survivability, but you have to think about the whole picture. You have to think about your whole team. You're bringing Aureus on the night. You have barrier from Fallen Cecilia, let's say. You're bringing a Soul Weaver or more into the team to heal him back up, put barrier, cleanse debuffs, push his combat shrewdness, give him attack buff, because he does get it from the skill number 3, the attack buff, but the uptime, it will depend how fast you build fighting spirit to keep on using the skill number 3. So Januta, the damage is high with the skill number 1 when he's enraged, and he ignores effect resistance with the skill 3 when he is enraged. And the way it works, for him to get the rage buff, he needs to activate the passive. It has a 35% chance, when an ally gets attacked. Pretty sure he's included in there. Also, if the enemy attacks, your whole team with AoE attacks, it's pretty good because Januta will be getting 10 fighting spirit per ally that gets attacked. So it's gonna be, it's gonna be fast for him to build that fighting spirit, which in turn will allow him to use the skill 3 quite often. Higher uptime on the attack buff for himself, so you don't need to bring an attack buffer in the team unless, I like to have one because on turn 1, I'm able to push his combat shrewdness. I'm able to give him attack buff because of course he will not have 100 fighting spirit. And even if I did open with the skill number 3, well, you get the attack buff after doing the damage, right? So you saw the damage against Arbiter Vildred. When he's hitting him, it hits real hard. And his stats are not even quite up there, right? Like, he's a 3-star hero. He's on a counter set. He has some pretty decent survivability. I mean, imagine if I had him on high offense, high attack, high crit damage, pretty high speed, let's say, and I didn't opt for too much survivability. Maybe I could do that and have maybe like a Troublemaker Crozet protecting him in the back. I could see it working. Maybe if he had like 10,000 health, it could work. I would have to bring some healing for him. It's gonna be kind of rough. So that's something you have to worry about if you're going that route with this hero. But it's like I said when he before he got released, I felt like this hero could deal some pretty solid damage throughout a long battle, like in a PvE long encounter. So that's cool, especially with the border coin building the attack and the speed. Then the rage buff giving him 10% attack, 10% speed increase. The uptime on that is pretty nice if the enemy is attacking your whole team often. You got the passive that can trigger with a 35% chance. So when that happens, right, he does get the rage buff for 2 turns. He also puts speed buff on your whole team for 2 turns. So he's not a selfish hero. Having a speed buff on your team helps a decent amount. That is 30% more speed for your team for the duration of the buff. which lasts 2 turns. So it's going to help your team to cycle faster. Cool, cool. Now the skill number 3, you got the soul burn for 10 souls that allows it to deal more damage. And right, you're going to be able to ignore effect resistance, and you're going to be able to land a speed down. You're going to be able to land a speed down debuff if you have the rage buff on him. So speed down, you know, in PvP, it's not that big of a deal, but ignoring effect resistance, that's good, because like imagine you land that on a cleanser, you land that, you know, on a healer. You could land it on just a hero that is quite annoying with their skills, and that's definitely going to be helping you out. The damage on the skill number 1 is quite surprising when he has the rage buff, so I definitely like that. I mean, especially on a counter set, that means he's going to be triggering that skill 1 more often throughout a battle, especially versus a team that has you know, multiple heroes that attack your whole team. Right, he's not a knight, so he cannot have Elbrus Ritual Sword, but there's some pretty powerful warrior artifacts, and definitely Border Coin is one of them. And it's cool that his passive will allow you to trigger it because it's a non-attack skill. Now Border Coin, you know, it's 5-star artifact, not that easy to get, let's say, but there's not that many warriors that can put Border Coin to good use. You know, Sermia is a great one, but having a 3-star hero that allows you to do it, so maybe you got a Border Coin laying around and you feel like, you know what, I feel like I like what I'm seeing, maybe I can put him to good use in my roster. He's just a 3-star hero. I mean, you don't need to invest any MolaGora, you know, a few rare catalysts, Stigma, Gold, you can get his skills to plus 15, and yeah, just put some gear on him and have a go at it, right? The thing is, it's like I said, right, like you could have him on a counter set, but if you prefer like a faster playstyle, because counter is not for everyone, right? And it doesn't mean that it will trigger. If you're fighting a team that has a bunch of heroes that cannot trigger counter set, right, like a Spectre Tenebria, right, he's a single target damage dealer, so of course Spectre Tenebria is going to be really deadly against him. If I'm fighting a player in World Arena, it's a different story compared to Arena or Guild War, because you can just bait their element into you know, different heroes, and then you can just like you take much less damage that way. You can just bring one healer that heals your whole team. So much easier for you to survive compared to if they're focusing all their damage onto one hero. They're trying to burst that one hero, then that hero is going to go down much faster, like in a, you know, a non-control environment when you're fighting a live player in World Arena. Right, so Januta, he's a 3-star. I tried to, you know, really test him properly, you know, and give you guys my thoughts, review the hero at the same time. That's the thing. So I feel like what I'm seeing in terms of multipliers is pretty respectable, to be honest, as a 3-star hero. And he definitely has enough stats for you to build survivability onto him. And yeah, you have to keep in mind I'm using a penetration set, so it definitely helps to boost his single target damage. So if you don't have that and you're fighting heroes that might have quite a bit of survivability and like they have a nice amount of defense, so high damage mitigation, if you don't have the penetration set, you can expect lower numbers. But yeah, if you do build him with like super high offense, maybe you go like over 4,000 attack, you have some speed on him. Maybe, actually, since I'm using health percentage on the main stats of my ring, I guess you could go with a speed main stat on your boots, on a speed set, right, with a penetration set. And I might just end up testing that out in the near future. I feel like he can definitely work quite well that way. And if I want to bring him in PvP, but also in PvE content, then I feel that's the better setup to go for instead of counter, because in PvE, maybe the boss keeps attacking the front line, you don't really have attacks that hit your whole team, and it's luck based as well. You know, when you have speed on your gear, you have speed in your stats, you're just gonna go more often. And with enemies that attack your whole team, he's definitely building fighting spirit at a nice rate, allowing him to use the skill 3 more often, and it hits pretty hard, especially if you save the souls for him to soul burn the S3. That's good. But the skill 1, I'm really surprised by how much damage output he's able to do, right? Like, you're getting the self attack buff from the skill 3, and then you follow up with the skill 1, and it feels good that you don't need to actually soul burn the skill 1 for it to deal some nice damage, right? As you can see in my battles, it's definitely a high amount, unless like the hero that I'm attacking has very high damage mitigation, right? Like a high amount of defense, maybe they have defense buff as well, so you do have to keep that in mind. But when he's got especially the border coin building up, like Spectre Tenebria has high base defense, and then she gets more defense as she builds her passive, so she's not gonna take like insane amount of damage, but you can see like it's pretty high throughout the battle so far. So I'm definitely enjoying that. Now I'm bringing him with Assassin Coley. In this battle, like, I wanted to speed things up because he's been showcased with, you know, a support team, Fawn CC, Knight with Aureus, Barrier for the whole team, Barrier throughout the battle, and then like I bring him with 2 Soul Weavers because I'm really trying to showcase Januta, right? I don't want another damage dealer in there to kind of, yeah, that's the thing. I'm trying to really showcase what he's able to do, and I want him to clear the whole enemy team. And it feels good to do it that way, and it feels like it's a better way to showcase the hero. The battles are longer, hence why I'm bringing another damage dealer in there. So I felt like Assassin Coley could be pretty sweet right here. She deals quite a bit of damage, self-attack buff. Januta is a hero that is he got the self-attack buff as well. Even though I do have Emilia in there that can heal, bring attack buff, push combationess. She's definitely a powerhouse, like I said in my showcase video when she got released. So yeah, back to Januta, right? So of course he's fire. There's a lot of annoying ice heroes, so you do have to keep that in mind. But he's a 3-star, right? You just build him. The problem is, yeah, you got him built, right? He's 6-star. Not that many materials were used, no MolaGora. But then, yeah, the gear, right? Like you can't have gear on every single hero that you have, unless you like just started and just made a few 6-stars. So that's something you will have to keep in mind. Now, Januta, right? If you are able to somehow put him in one or more of your PvE teams, because I haven't tested how good his morale is in raiding, but if you are able to bring him in your raid team, I'm talking like normal, hell, like that could definitely help. Now, he could be used occasionally in Hall of Trials. I feel like Expedition, he could be used there. He definitely could be used there, especially because he is self-sufficient with the attack buff, right? So you don't need to bring an attack buffer, and he's getting Fighting Spirit pretty fast. If your team keeps getting attacked, all your team is gonna get Fighting Spirit faster, higher uptime on the attack buff, more usage of the skill 3. So that's cool, and then the passive will trigger more often as well. 35% chance, can only trigger every 2 turns, but that's okay because the whole team gets a 2-turn speed buff, and you also get the rage buff on a Januta for 2 turns, which cannot be removed, so that's cool. And then he will be dealing more damage with the skill 1 and ignore effect resistance with the skill number 3. So yeah, if you can put that hero to good use in other places, that would definitely be the best, and you should probably build this hero because, to be honest, I'm liking what I'm seeing, unless you have higher priorities to build. Anyways, that's going to be it for this one. I'm Astranox. Good luck with all ya do. Peace out for now.